Hi, it's Claire and Wayne from Mouse Training here.
Hi there.
Welcome to the preview of our Excel Advanced course. In this video, we'll be seeing some of the most popular topics on the course. Firstly, macros, where you can automate Excel. And then, pivot tables, for analyzing your Excel data. I'll let Wayne take it away on macros.
Thanks, Claire. If you ever have a very boring and repetitive job to do in Excel, then you should definitely consider recording a macro. Macro is short for macro instruction, meaning that several actions can all be combined into one command. We are only going to do a short recording today. But remember, a macro can contain literally thousands of actions. Recording a macro will take a few minutes. In the future, you'll get all that time back. And more. Excel macros are a huge time saver and are well worth the time you spend recording. Firstly, start on a blank worksheet and rehearse the recording that you're going to make. That way, you'll get a nice, clean recording. Then, clear that away. Turn on the macro recorder and repeat what you've previously done. This time, everything is recorded. Turn off the recorder and play it back. Everything happens in one go. And, hopefully, it plays back perfectly. That's the benefit of doing your rehearsal. We are going to record a macro that enters 3 headings up the top of the worksheet. I'm going to do the Simpsons. Bart, Homer and Marge. Usually I do something sensible. After the headings are entered, we'll give them a special format, bold white text on a black background. Let's go. The rehearsal first. Enter Bart in cell A1. Enter Homer in B1. And finally, Marge into C1. Then, select the cells and do the text formatting. White text color, black fill, and then bold. Now, delete what we've just done. Then, we turn on the macro recorder. And do the real thing. Shoot over to the View tab, and look for the Macros group over on the right. Click the Record Macro control and enter a name for your macro. We'll have Simpsons. Then click OK. Everything we do now is being recorded. Repeat the entries. Bart, Homer and Marge. Then do the formatting. The recording is completed, so click Stop Recording back on the View tab. I can't wait to see if it's working. Delete the headings, then we'll play back the macro. Click View Macros, choose Simpsons from the list. Now click the Run button. And there's your headings done. Greased lightning. Wow. Delete the headings. Then run the macro again. It works fine. Then run the macro again. It looks like it doesn't work. It is working, but can you see, it's always going back to the cells where it was originally recorded. A1, B1 and C1. What if I wanted the headings to be entered across the row from my active cell? In normal macro recording, cell selection is absolute. Always selecting the same cells. If you want to have the idea of moving the cell over to the right, or left, or up and down, then you need to turn on Use Relative References. Let's see the difference. Click the Use Relative References control in the Macros group, and we'll make another recording. This time we'll have the Flintstones, not the Simpsons. Select a blank cell. Now, turn on the macro recorder. Enter the name Flintstones. And start recording. Enter Fred. Move right and then Wilma. Then Betty. And then Barney. Now do the fancy, black and white formatting. Finally, turn off the macro recorder. Let's see how this, relative, recording differs from the first one. Click a blank cell and then click View Macros. Flintstones and the Run button. Fred is entered into the current cells and the others are entered over to the right. Let's try that again. And again. This is quite different from what we had before. The Simpsons always went into the cells where they were originally recorded. But with use relative references turned on, the macro recorder picks up your current cell location and any selections you make relatively to your current position. Left, right, up or down. That wraps up macros for today. I'm sure you'll find plenty of uses for your Excel macros. Now, I'll hand back to Claire, who is going to show you pivot tables.
Thanks very much, Wayne. I can think of loads of macros that I'll be doing. In this session, I'd like to demonstrate how to create pivot table reports. Pivot tables are just a great way of summarizing and analyzing your Excel data. And after we've created our reports, we're going to see how to add slices and timelines to them, so that we can easily interact with our pivot tables. It all starts with some source data on an Excel worksheet. Your data needs to be in a tabular form, with headings at the top of each column. And, preferably, in an Excel table. I'll start by creating the table. Click anywhere on your data and then, click the Insert tab and then the Table control, which you'll find in the first group on the left. Your data is automatically detected, and you just click OK to create the table. Now you have the table, you can give it a more obvious name. I think I'll name mine as Source. Just type the name into the Table Name box and press Enter. I would like to create a report showing me the total units for each country and for each product. Click the Summarize with Pivot Table control in the next group. Source is the data, and I'll have the report on a new worksheet. There's nothing much to do here, so just click OK. Here's my pivot table on the new sheet. I'll just zoom up a wee bit and adjust the field list on the right, so I can see a bit easier. Let's create the report. Drag the country field from the fields list into the rows drop zone. And there's a list of your countries in the report. And now, drag the product field to the columns zone. Finally, drag units into values. That's how easy it is to create a pivot table report.
Claire, that is so cool.
It really is, isn't it? Mind you, I'm not happy with it yet. I would like the products listed under the country. So, I'll drag the product field under country in rows. That's much better. All you do is play around with your fields like this, until you have the presentation you want. The next job is to tidy up the report and make it more readable. I would like to visually separate the different country sections. Have the totals down the bottom, rather than up the top. And I would like the numbers to be properly formatted. Firstly, we'll need the Pivot Tables Tools Design tab. Click blank rows and insert blank line after each item. There's your separations. And then, click subtotals and show all subtotals at bottom of group. That looks so much better. Let's format the numbers. For this, you have to get into the field settings. Right-click a cell in your report and choose Value Field Settings from the shortcut menu. And click the number button down at the lower left-hand side. Can you see it? I think I'll have the good old bean counters special. Accounting format, 0 decimal places and no currency symbol. OK. That looks nice.
Claire, can't you just format the cells as you usually do?
Yes, you can. But you'll find that, sometimes, you lose the formatting when the report is refreshed. This way takes a little longer. But, in the long run, it's a lot more reliable. Let's change the header to Unit Sales. And, now for my final trick, another column showing percentages. I need to calculate the market share for each product in the country. Here, we'll need a calculated field. Drag another copy of the Units field into the Values zone. That gives you 2 sets of exactly the same numbers. And now, we change the second field into our percentage calculations. Once again, we'll need the field settings. So, right-click a cell in the second field and choose Value Field Settings from the shortcut menu. Next, we need Show Data As. And then drop the list of calculated fields. Look for Percentage of Parent Total. The base field is country and click OK. There's your market share calculations, with each country adding up to 100%. Change the heading and format the numbers. And that's the report completed. I'm now going to hand over to Wayne to show you slices and timelines.
Thanks, Claire. There's so much analysis that you can do with your pivot tables. But too much analysis leads to analysis paralysis, where the report becomes difficult to read and understand. This is when we need slicers, so that we can filter our pivot table reports. I have my data analyzed by country and product, and the report is easy to read. Now, I also need to analyze by product category. I can drag the category field in as a row or a column field. But whatever I do, the report looks a mess. Let's keep the report as it is, but allow for category analysis by creating a slicer. Any field can be a slicer. Click in the pivot table and look for the Insert Slicer control on the Analyze tab. We'll choose the category field. And here's our slicer. Slicers are really easy to use. We'll master them in no time at all. Click a value in the slicer to filter the report. Let's click on Organic. And we show only products of that category. Click in the corner to clear the filter. Now we'll click on the Multi-Select control. Can you see that's slightly different? Here, we're selecting the categories that we don't want to see in the report. And clear the filter. You're now an expert on using slicers. Good job. We'll have another slicer, this time country. Move the slicers up a bit. And use the slicer tab to have 2 columns in the country slicer. Drag to widen the slicer. And change the colors? Why not? Which color to have? These are the hard decisions we have to make. And finally, we'll have a timeline. This is a more specialized slicer that only works on date fields. However, it's a good one to know about because it's great at filtering your report for different calendar periods. Click the timeline control. We only have one field to choose from, date. And now we set the date filter. Here's years. Here's a single year. And here's 2020 to 2021. We can drill down through the calendar periods. Here's quarters. Here's months. And here's days. You can filter the data for any calendar period you need. You'll notice that all your slicers and timelines work in unison with each other. Here's my non-organic products for the UK in the period 2019 to 2020.
Wayne, you really are the slicers guy. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this short preview. Our Excel Advanced course is very popular. And macros and pivot tables are the topics that most of our students really enjoy. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Hope to see you again soon. Do get in touch if you want any help with your Excel worksheets. Maybe you would like to arrange a training course for yourself or for some of your colleagues. You can drop me a line or phone me on the number shown here. This preview was only a brief guide to our Excel Advanced course. Follow the link below if you want to see the full course outline. And don't forget, we can always tailor any training course to suit your own specific requirements. You might like to see the previews for both our Excel Introduction and Excel Intermediate courses. Follow the links coming up on the screen. And for now, it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me. Bye.